Alrighty guys, welcome to another replay analysis for Legion TD. So for some context, the red player here, Hulk, sent this over to me and was like, hey, can you have a look at it, see what you think? It's like, yeah, sure, no worries. So what I figured I might do is try and go into a bit of an over-explained variant of it. And, you know, just talk about everything that happens, talk about what I think is good, what I think is not so good, what I think is could be changed, could be optimized, and also why. So we'll see how long this takes. This is my first time watching the replay except for the first level, because the dog started going absolutely nuts outside my window and it was just unpleasant to listen to. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so here's our first roll. So we got Spawn, Wyvern, Mudman, Tribe, Ogre, Tusker. So you can keep this and play a dead value overbuild. That'll do well on like 5, 7, 10, or 3, 5, 7, 10 with Spawn, but it'll fall off a cliff afterwards. So have a look, is the team good on 10? He's probably going to reroll. He's got some things that are alright on 10, but unless he actually plays the Overlord, which he probably won't, gonna have to reroll. But you could play Overlord with Dark Mage. And he's got Ig with nothing for 10. Okay, so since no one on your team is particularly good on 10, you could actually keep this, but the Ig doesn't really have Tok adds, so he's just going to overbuild. And then if you're just overbuilding with an Ig, you kind of need the game to end 14 at the latest, which is dicey. It's doable, but it's dicey, so probably re-rolling this makes the most sense. We'll have a quick look at the enemy team. He obviously doesn't know that. Okay. So anyway, we'll see what we drop here. I already know, but so we're going to drop 2 tribes. And 1, 2, 3 ogres. So, a couple of things about this. Firstly, I'll drop Wyvern here instead of the tribesman. So if you think about what units are you going to keep the tribesman with, and the answer are like very, very few. You're only keeping the tribesman if you basically have nothing else. Yeah, you're that, or maybe if you have like zombie, but then you have to start 1-0, so no. You're almost never keeping these tribesmen, right? So the reason I would drop Wyvern is because if you reroll into like complete crap, then you can just play Wyvern with like whatever adds and make a 1 to 6 yellow out of it, and it's like fine. It's not particularly good, but it'll be better than trying to do it with double alpha. So that's why I drop Wyvern over the 2 tribes. It's also worth noting these ogres are placed like really, really badly. The thing is, like, you want the ogres behind to run up and damage share, right? Here they're just going to get completely sniped because they're so far in front. You really don't want to be building units like here, right? Like if you rerolled into, I don't know, Grizzly, and you wanted to keep these ogres, you'd need to place your Grizzly like here, which is just, that's too far forward. I think we all know that, right? So, yeah, these ogres are just really badly placed to the point where you may as well just not place them in the first, you may as well just not even have dropped them because you're always selling them because they're placed so badly. So definitely need to place the ogres like behind the tribesmen for the drop. Yeah, I think that's about all to say so far. Okay, we reroll into Aqua. Aqua with Witch Dock, Harpy, Parrot, Wandergoo, Guardian of Death. So who else rerolled? Purple rerolled, drop 2 skeletons. Rerolls into LOD. Okay, so there's your Annie 10. Annie 10 is Lord, Infantry, Null. He can't really keep these skeletons, which is unfortunate, but it also doesn't really matter that much because this is a good roll anyway. So there's your Annie 10, so that's nice. You don't need to really think about that anymore, it's his job. So you've got like Aqua, and you can build a Witch Dock on 8, and then you have like something frontline for 9. Don't really get to damage 10, and then you've got Annie 14 on this roll. Okay, so if you want Annie 15, you need your 50. So the way you can think about it is, if you want Annie 14, then you can stay low, or if you think you can carry off of 50, or if you think you need to try and carry 15 off of 50, then you can take that at some point. But otherwise you can just push up. Like if you're scared of 14, which is unlikely with Ig and Hades lanes, then you can stay a bit lower. But since that's unlikely, you're going to be looking towards like, do I need to carry 15? Or do I just want to push, right? Since 14 is unlikely to be a big concern, because as I said, Lord on 14. Like Lord with HR, infantry on 14 is good, and Tok on 14. So unless you lose a bunch of heals or either teal or purple fucks up and becomes weak, then you should probably just be thinking that, okay, most of the time I'm going to push, and if I have a good game, I'll try my 50 reroll. Okay, let's see how we go. So I'm assuming we just start for Aqua. It's like no reason to do anything else. Okay. I would have started where you place them first. I like starting a bit further forwards with Aqua because it gives me more room to play with. But it's totally fine if you're building like a second line of Aquas here and then your Warclog Aqua here. So we'll see. Alright, did Blue reroll? No, Blue's actually keeping this. Okay. Going for an Alchemist on Alchemist Meat Wagon, Ranger on free. Okay, so he's probably going Alchemist Wagon, Mix YOLO. Would be my expectation with this, with a 3-0 start and this roll. Okay. So let's see. Enemy sends Warriors. Okay, that's really good for your team. You've got Aquas, you're fine. He's got Ig, so he's fine. He's got Lord, so he's happy. And he's got Alchemist, so he's really sad, but like whatever. It's just boop, it's all good. So we'll see how we do that. See how we do here. Not the best, but we get the push in. With double 1-0, I don't think you're sending 2, so I would just lumberjack here. And add a couple of parrots and then go like 340 value on 3 with parrot, because I think parrot's one of the 2 ones that it's totally fine to do that with. Like 240 value on 2, 340 value on 3. Ig did really well. But it's also okay to just wisp and play it a bit more standard. It's not a big mistake or anything. It's probably not even a mistake at all. It's just preference. Alright. End up on perfect gold to go 5-0 here, so that actually works really nicely for you. Actually, +1 to go 5-0. Okay, we reroll now into Aqua Dark Priest. That would have been, you know, cool. It's all good though. Alright, placement is fine. We put the Warclog Aqua in, which is sensible for level 2. There we go, one more Wisp. Can't lumberjack without gold, so that's fine. Ig is killing slow. So on level 1, their kill speed was fast. 3 fast and 1 a bit slower. Okay, so the level 6 score came out. 3 fast, 1 a bit slower. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, this is poor placement here. So we have a Warclog on level 2, and then we remove the Warclog for level 3. There's no reason to do this. So either you're planning to build your second like full row of Aquas here, in which case the Aquas go here and here, or you're planning to build your second full row of Aquas along this line here, in which case one of these Aquas has to go here, alright, to keep the Warclog. That is really important, because it will significantly like reduce the chance of you leaking to no send on level 3, and it will make you do better if they try and like horse resend, because they know they're 100% sure there's an Ig. Level 1 was actually kind of slow because the Ig leaked 1 creep, so the Warriors were in his lane for a long time, and then solo Ig on level 2 was like quite slow kill speed, right? So if they've got like 4-0 starts, then they could try and resend Ferbs on 3. Like if we check their lumber, he's almost reaching. He did lumberjack, so he's not reaching, right? He's like kind of close with only 3-0, and then he's got a lot of wood with 5-0, right? So you can see it's actually like realistic for them to be able to resend Ferbs on 3. So it should be like in your head. I'm not saying you have to go 400 value and like try and cover or whatever. That's not really your job. But you don't want to like actively make your lane worse versus send on 3 when a send on 3 is possible. So that's definitely a mistake there. But besides that, going 350 is like totally fine here. Level 4 hold, yeah, no fucking chance. Okay. Should be lumberjack first here. Yep, good. Alright, so we get a scout here. What do we see? See turret, aqua, archer. Okay. So 6 looks like Omega Girl, so you kind of just need to defend 5. So it's a good idea to do the 400 aqua here. Because the 400 aqua here defends a bit against a level 4 send from them, which is unlikely given they're no IG, but it is possible if they're like worried about 5. It also means you don't give them extra time, extra scout, so you don't really want to risk and like show them the ads on your Yig, ads on your Lord, or you know, Blue's lane. Yeah, you don't want to give them a scout here. You don't want to give them time. So it definitely makes the most. It's definitely a good idea to just play it safe, and adding the aqua is totally fine. Looks like Teal's going for upgraded IG. For Tok on level 5, which is fine. But yeah, so what you can do is you can go for no leak level 4 to deny them 5 send, and then go for leak level 5 to make your 6 send better. So I want to see 7-2 here. I want to see 7-2 and then like 5-20 or whatever. How much value we can reach. Okay, we go fast farm. Alright, so that's like a little thing, right? You can see we started to upgrade the farm. I think we might have cancelled it, I don't know. We started to upgrade the farm, which cost 24 gold when we're 14 out of 15 food. But we know we're pushing the wisp anyway, so don't use that 24 gold on the farm. Use it on the wisp, and then if you still want to do the farm, you do the farm afterwards, right? Instead of taking like 3-4 seconds off, like probably 2-3 seconds off your wisp, right? It's obviously a really small thing, but it's worth doing it properly. Okay, 520 value is 7-1. Yes, we did get a bit wrecked on level 1. Parrot definitely should be here. I mean, I would still prioritize the 7-2, right? And just go for the leak, but... Or the 6-2 maybe. Yeah, I guess the 6-2, go for a leak. One of these aquas turns into a parrot. Okay. Yeah, 7-2 is going to be a bit much, but you could 6-2. So yeah, parrot should be here as well. Behind like this, it's just not really going to do much. If you put it in front here, it'll just walk up and act as like another walk log. You don't want to do it here, because if you do it here, then it'll make these outside aquas walk too far forwards, because the first creeps will be hitting here, and either they'll be late, or they'll trigger and they'll end up like here. You'll end up with like a straight line of aquas, which is not what you want. So yeah, parrot, best position is here. Okay. And he goes for a 5 send, as you can see. So it's good that there's okay, he didn't actually go for a... He didn't go for a Tok. He went for second IG plus Ice Troll. Which is interesting, because then there's no reason not to build the Ice Troll on 4. So possibly changed his plan at some point in the process. Okay, so we'll see the send split really quickly. He went for Hades, which, I mean, it's fine. It's better on 6. So he gets Blood Orc only. He gets Blood Orc Horse. Accurate doesn't really matter what you get. Is that Blood Orc Hermit? Yeah, Blood Orc Hermit's a bit painful. And then El Boop just got Blood Orc. Okay. So you're obviously gonna leak here. There's nothing you can do about that. Doesn't matter. For your team. Maybe Teal changed because of the immolation actually. Which does make sense. Okay. So you obviously don't do well, but you get your push, so that's good. And then you have 2 mids, so the send completely fails here. So you can be pretty happy about that. It's obviously not the best for your lane, but as long as you get your /2 push in, it's fine. Okay, so at this point, they've sent a 1, and it kind of hurt your value. They sent a 5, and it really hurt your value, right? Because there are no king legs on either level. You're also playing on 0 income for the whole game. This means you're never ever going to be able to carry this game, right? It's just unrealistic. So this means that, like, the idea of like, oh, maybe I use my 50 reroll and try and carry 15, that's not really realistic anymore. So your thought process should be like, okay, purple, like, teal lost 3 gold from level 1 and has gained lots of gold on level 5. Purple got lots of gold on level 1 and lots of gold level 5. These 2 lanes are the carry lanes, right? It's already decided. These are the 2 lanes that are going to be big. Me and blue are going to struggle, and that's just how it is. So now your priority should just be to go into a push. Probably like 7-6, 7-7. Need a quick drink, sorry. Probably 7-6, 7-7. Right? And then just provide lumber for the team. You can spin your 50 if you want to find like Tok or something after 10. But for now should just be a push prioritized Aqua YOLO with like on 9. Okay. So we have one more parrot here, good. Its placement still should be here, but in general just adding it is good. We'll reach enough gold for 7-3. Probably won't be able to fast 7-4, but that's okay, it's just is what it is. And yeah, we'll go from there. So, see how we do. Focus looks pretty good in general. Parrots, like, they're definitely not the worst back there, but it does end up with 2 aquas dying before the parrots, which is not what you want. Okay, for 540 though, you're doing pretty fine. Yeah, you can be like happy enough with this really. Leaking here doesn't matter. Honestly, it's good for your team anyway, since you've got immolation, you're full sending. They have immolation as well, but obviously you can't know that. And they start HP, so you basically get to know that they don't really send on 7, or they send max ferment, and they probably send nothing, right? Yeah, they did more HP just then, so you can expect that nothing is being sent. Okay, adding 2 more aquas here. I would not do this. I would, the reason is you're 7-3, right? You save the 100 gold, so you're on 114 gold, right? You kill like 2 satyrs, 1 satyr? 1 satyr, and you reach your 7-4 push, right? And that's what you want. You have immolation, you have 2, like, lanes that will hold, versus no send or versus Ferb Hermit. Well, Zeus is too far behind, so this might leak to Ferment, but still. And you can see that they did a bunch of HP, so you can expect like Ferment max, but probably no send, right? So it means that like you killing 1 more creep doesn't matter. You should just be prioritizing your push here, right? Priority should be like push and then build for 8. So building these 2 aquas here is actually quite bad because it will delay your 7-4 until the start of level 8 at the earliest. When you could be 7-4 like at the start of level 7 and through all the leaks, right? Because your send is pretty big, right? 2500. You expect like a good amount of time for that 7-4 to work. There'll be less time than you would expect because immolation, but it's just, you know, it just is what it is, right? You can't know that. Okay, so obviously you're going to be stuck 7-3 this whole level, which is pretty unfortunate. No, you never get enough gold for the 7-4 here. Yeah, obviously both these lanes do well. He had really bad focus, not sure how that happened, but it doesn't matter. I think 106, but it's immolation, so you won't take any heals. Or maybe you'll take 1, not sure. Okay, you take 1 heal, so that's something. So you've got +1 heal, which is nice. Okay. You also did too many king upgrades. You should say you should have done 1 less king upgrade in order to get fast 7-4 and not have to wait for 50 lumber, because you know that you're just building the rest anyway, right? So you go 2 aquas. What are we doing now? And then push. Okay. Sell 1 aqua to build a harpy. I mean, I would say that harpy is probably just worse than aqua, but I mean, it's okay. It's better for 9. This, like, realistically, this is fine. So, it doesn't really matter. Okay. You do push your 7-4, which is good. So if you have a look at Boop here, you see he's got a Dark Priest, he's got his Alchemist behind, so you know he's fine on level 9, and he's probably building for 10, right? So your priority should be like, okay, I'm the only lane that's pushing, so I'm going to push and I'm going to leak 9, so this push is good here. Even though you'll leak pretty hard on 9, this push is good here. You have good focus and you manage to hold, so that's nice, helps you out. It's not really your job to leak for your team here. And with 106 leaks on 7, it's from them, and no king leaks on your side, it's relatively unlikely that all 4 lanes of theirs hold, considering that you know turret, EA, Aqua, so they might all hold, but when they knew they had immolation after the 5, they would have pushed for sure. Okay, so doing some more king, that's fine. Farm, you've got 173 gold to play with, so what I would do is a Witch Dock and then 3 2 1s, 1 2 3, or you could set Witch Dock Harpy. Both are okay. Okay. I've said it a few times with Aqua on 9, but Aqua's like actually not a bad damage dealer on 9, right? If we go and find like a heavy armor unit, he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. Tell me someone has heavy armor. Yeah, there we go. So Crusader heavy armor. So it takes 90% damage from normal, right? That's actually like not too bad. Normal does okay damage to the heavy armor. It just takes a lot of damage, right? The medium armor takes a lot of damage from level 9, but the normal damage does okay versus level 9, right? So the priority should be like tanks for your aquas, right? And you have good tanks. You have 95 HP light armor, which take only 90%, so it's like a bit of extra HP. Then 325 HP light armor. You might say like, oh, the harpies, they probably run in front of the aquas. And it's like they probably do, but because your aquas are the first things that are going to fight the creeps, the harpies won't run in front of all the aquas, they'll probably just run in front of like, you probably lose like 5 aquas before the harpies are just tanking, right? And that's not very good. So what you really want is something here, ideally like a tier 1, which, comes back to level 5 even whenever we placed our tier 1 level 5, I think. Comes back to level 5, where if we have this tier 1 here, the tier 1 goes forward, and then the harpies go in front of like most of the aquas, and then that's going to make your lane a lot more efficient on 9. So that's another reason to have the tier 1, especially the melee tier 1 here. That's unideal. In general, the unit choice is correct. The placement will just lead to you doing a bit worse than you should do. Okay, so I'll speed through there. So should be looking to go 7-6 here. Okay, looks like Teal's getting a talk for 10, which is good, as long as he builds something. Okay, Harpies did a pretty good job here, honestly. I think you're a little bit lucky you lost only 1 Aqua really quickly, well, 2 Aquas really quickly before the Harpies. And see, this Aqua's going to die as well. But overall, you can be pretty okay with that. Went a little bit better than I would have expected it to go. Okay. Yeah, you can see this Harpy is like one of the last things to die. Wherever it is, I can't click on it because it's flying. That's unideal. Okay, staying 7-5 here is definitely a mistake. Okay, good. The push was a little bit late, but pushing is correct, so that's good. Fuck yes, Boop. Good from him. At least he knows it. Studying testicular cancer, aka Blues Lane. Okay. It's obviously not a very good send. Let's see, what have we got? 4 Panda, 4 for tiny bit of mass. Doesn't really matter. You're just sending a little bit to try and break, which should be pretty doable. They're not the best here, really. They're okay, but they're not the best. You definitely need HP on the king. Okay, so we end up with 121 gold here. You've got 2 options. That's like not really one of them, honestly. I would say Medusa just doesn't accomplish anything. I would say the 2 options would be to just not build, or if you really want to try and save a heal for your team, then you go full parrots in front of the aquas. Just to damage the bosses. Personally, I would just save all my money here. I don't think this Medusa actually accomplishes anything. It'll just kill more mass, which matters basically not at all. It's not a big deal, but it's just, the Medusa doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do anything on 10. doesn't really do anything arena. It doesn't really help you on like 11, 12 if you're trying to hold those levels. Which if, for whatever reason, your team decides that you want to hold and like skip 15 or whatever and play a 16, 17 game, then the Medusa isn't going to help you do that as much as holding gold for like a Wondergoo or a Dragon is going to do. So yeah, as you can see, you like actually just don't damage the bosses at all, right? Even with Medusa, so it doesn't matter. You take like, I don't know, 3 hits total off the total number of king hits by doing that. Anyway, purple goes mid, which is good. Boop licked all 3 bosses, which I mean, I guess he expected it. Don't know if that makes it better or not. Okay. 7-6 here, obviously nothing you can do. Should be upgrading the HP. Okay. Team got it, so it's fine. But you want to upgrade a little bit faster than that when you know you're gonna need it. It's okay to wait for the double resummon and like see, but you always know that you need at least max HP here. And as you can see, like the heal's going. It like wasn't savable even with faster ups with at least this much regen, but it doesn't mean there's like a reason or a good reason to do the ups slowly instead of quickly, right? In the end, you trade 1 heal each, so it's fine as long as you don't lose this second heal. Which is pretty close, but it looks like you're alright. Yeah. Alright, freeze frame right here. So now you look at the values on both teams, and you think, what does your team want? Okay, so you've got overall better push. Cool. You've got your top lane. This guy needs to reroll, but he won't for a little while. But in general, purple's really fat. Teal's a good top lane. And blue has Dark Priest, so the bullshit potential is definitely there on his lane, right? So what you should be thinking is like, okay, what do we want? Do we need more value? Not really. Like, it's not super critical, but how winnable is this arena? So you look at the values. 1450, 1645, 1195, 1370. Your team has more value overall, right? Considering that, like, even considering that he's got no gold to spend and they all have gold to spend still, right? But your team has more value overall. That means arena win is pretty realistic, means you want to be building for that, right? You want to build for the arena win, so best arena build is actually upgrading the Witch Doctor. However, since that's so shit on your lane, it really shuts down all your options in terms of like holding or recovering or whatever. So I would still just build the Guardian of Death here, right? Just stay 7-6 for now. I would build the Guardian of Death and then think about pushing more when you win the arena, because it's quite likely you do. So you go Wondergoo instead, double Wondergoo. I mean, honestly, it's fine. It's like the same thing. This Harpy's a mistake, though. You should save that gold. Because 7-7 costs 180 gold, right? So pretend you didn't build this Harpy. You have 78 gold. You win the arena. Then you have 178 gold. Then you sell this Parrot. You have enough for 7-7, right? So that's actually quite relevant. In fact, if you're really confident that you win the arena, you can actually sell the Parrot now. Like before the arena, so that as soon as you get the win gold, you can click the Lumberjack, and it's like maybe 10 seconds more efficient at the cost of losing a Parrot for the arena. So that's something you can also think about doing. And we look at the values like post build. Blue stayed 7-3 to get another Dark Priest for the arena. Okay, so that's good from him. Definitely don't need this Harpy though, because as I said, if you look at the values, your team is overall higher. You've got good arena units. You have double Tok, which is pretty solid, even though Aquas will screw those. Double Hades and a couple of Zeus, which is really good. 4 Dark Priest. So basically you have like Dark Priest, Zeus, Hades, and then like frontline Tok. You know they've got like Turret and EA and Aqua as well. Not the highest values, so you should expect the arena win without this Harpy. So I will get rid of that for sure, and then prioritize the push. Because you've got like up to 3 lanes that can carry. Like a mid-game send, like we've got 3 Toks and ads, we've got Dark Priest, which can snipe sends, and then we've got like a fat Hades lane on 50. So your only job is to provide lumber, right? So you should be prioritizing that 7-7. Since level 10 went well and they've got 2 heals, race 15, and you're +1 heal, +1 heal and plus value, like race 15 should be pretty free for your team. So it should be prioritizing the 7/7 setup. Which is why that harpy shouldn't be there. So as you can see, the arena is like, it's not super free, but it's pretty easy, so no big issue there. Unfortunately, you're stuck 7/6, can't push 7. Pretend you built for arena win. It was definitely correct to build some, but you should have held a little bit to go 7/7 after the win. You could go 7/7 before, but I would say just prioritize the arena win since you have enough wood and it's okay. Everyone else should stay, for sure. I don't think Teal should 7/6 personally. Like, it's okay to do, but I think with like Cannon, Up Dice Troll, maybe even bloody Up Twitch Doctor, I think he has enough backline to actually go mid versus not a very big send. You can see their push isn't the best. Their push wasn't the best on arena, and with 3 heals, it actually means that even if shit somehow goes really sideways, you can survive. You don't even die 15. But yeah, anyway. Moving forwards, you don't build here, which is fine, because you want to leak. Do you push here? You do push here. Okay, I think that's a good decision. We could have optimized it to push earlier, but in general, the decision to push is correct, so that's good. Looks like you end up holding here. Oh my god, Wondergoo is cracked, but they leak, because you can expect that anyway with like 1600 EA. Sometimes the top lane doesn't leak, I imagine, but the EA pretty much always should, so that's fine. You don't push 7/8, which is correct. Okay. I don't think we really need corner delay here. Honestly, that doesn't strike me as particularly important. And also, if you just look at the raw HP, right? Happy through 25 HP is not the best. You're actually best just building parrots for blockers, right? And then you have like more flexibility in terms of how many you sell. And you have better sell increments. In general, I don't think, since no one on your team is 7/4, and you know that they have at least one 7/4, they had yellow and 7/4 as well, then the like super slow leak isn't really needed, right? Your team will have enough wood. It's probably not going to make anyone send 2 Krakens out of these guys that, because, you know, they don't have the best push, they don't have great bank here. So you're the only one that's going to send 2 Krakens anyway, so I think this like corner delay just doesn't really accomplish anything. You leak slower, but I don't know what it actually does. If you added a harpy here, I would sell it. Just because like Aqua or Wondergoo, like Aqua's pretty focus dependent. And you know, like the like high roll setup on your lane can be pretty damn effective. But in general, like you're going for a leak here, so as long as you leak, it's all good. Probably give some bounty still though, so sure you want to prioritize that leak. And it's okay to leak like way more creeps if you do give bounty. Okay, this is a good leak. As you can see, like it's kind of close in the end, 10 to 20. Okay, so this is your last level of bounty, so ideally like lower numbers of leaks from here. Okay, let's see, what do we do here? Put another small and another small one to go. It's like, it's fine. I'm not sure why you're full building here though. 2140 value is like, I know there's 120 in the corner, so 2020 value. That's like in the realm of holding here, even though your units aren't great here. So I'm not sure why you're risking a hold like this. Right? Even though it's like you probably leak, the game is pretty fucking free if you just definitely leak, so I wouldn't mess around with it too much personally here. So once again, like Aquas, they're just like, if you have, you know, good clog and the creeps are slow, then they just do so much damage, right? Anyway, somehow you give more bounty here than last level, so I guess building a lot ended up working really well. I have no idea how that managed to happen though. But yeah, that's cool, I guess. So can build a little more here. But once again, like 2400 value with Aqua and like heavy armor front line You got a whole lot of normal damage. You got heavy armor frontline. I think you're risking this a little bit. Okay. Teal rerolled into Dark Priest, so with his 7-6, he probably struggles to mid, but in general it's really good Dark Priest. His backline for 15. Okay, we got 3 Hellraisers rerolled into Mutant. Okay. Would keep the Hellraisers then because you need to clear the creeps out, and can just get like 1 Mutant to try and help kill the Behemoth. He'll have a hard time going mid. If he actually goes mid with this setup, the only reason will be because high value and or Behemoth snipe. And or just like not a very big send from the opponent. Once again, I think you should just like prioritize the league here, right? So if you have a look at your team's wood, 22, 22, 24, he actually might get that second Kraken. But if there's no league here, then you deny 2 Warlocks for your team. Which is not ideal. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Okay, yeah, we do end up holding here. But blue leaks, so that's all fine, I guess. But in the end, like, I wouldn't trust the leaks to anyone else, really, right? Like, I wouldn't expect a leak from this value. And you obviously don't really know what the other team is doing. Like, just purely looking at this line, I don't look at this and think, like, yes, it definitely leaks 14. Anyway, moving forwards, he just goes 3 talk to Dark Priest, loads cannons, gets a Neo Tank instead of a Mutant. I think Mutant is just, like, objectively better stats-wise, but whatever. It's kind of same. It's, like, does accomplish the same thing, basically. Overseers, like, whatever, I'll go up Tribesman, but doesn't matter. You build like whatever, like another Wondergoo, some Medusas. It doesn't really matter at this point. On your lane, whatever you build, the result will be pretty much the same, which will be a pretty decent sized leak versus a send, and a hold versus no send. So you end up with an Infernal, which is really good, because obviously like you leak anyway. 2 Krakens, and 1 Kraken Warlock. 1 Kraken Warlock, so you got the best send split possible. With you and blue getting the biggest sends, because blue just like is only trying to snipe Krakens and snipe sends, so it doesn't matter how big his send is. He doesn't have the value to go mid most of the time. And then the 2 guys that are trying to go mid had the low sends. You can see this is why I wouldn't have pushed 7-6 if I was teal. So I think with like decent backline or just a good backline reroll, it's pretty realistic to go mid, but 7-6 is a bit rough. So moving on to just normal speed again. See the Kraken somehow gets sniped. Purple didn't have a good enough roll to mid. Teal pushed 7-6 and can't hold. Blue is weak value. So you end up with no mid versus 1 mid, but you're +1 heal. So this is just going to be a pretty close race in the end. And we'll just fast forward through it. Like, I'm not going to talk too much about the KC. It's immolation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So you guys obviously take more damage, but there aren't many Krakens. Boop's doing a good job killing fires. So you guys get the race win anyway, despite having 0 mid versus 1 mid. Okay. So, I mean, this was pretty fine in general. You seem to like understand your role in the game and were able to execute that. But I think often like you realized what you were meant to do in terms of like according to the team a little bit later, or a little bit too late to actually optimize it fully. So just think about that a bit more. But in general, like the build was pretty fun. Tier 1 placement was a bit off, but besides that, the placement was okay. And removing that wall clog for 3 was just really silly as well. Yeah, like in general, it's pretty solid. So it's not a bad game. A couple of mistakes, but nothing super egregious. A couple of basic things to fix up, and then just think a bit more actively about like how your game is going, especially with roles like Aqua, where it's like an Aqua can transition into a carry with like a decent reroll, or it can just push and like pretend it's an EA, essentially. It's like Aqua's probably the best example of a YOLO that will regularly transition into a carry or will just push. So yeah, with Aqua, it's important to like have have your fingers on the pulse of how the game is going for your lane, right? So like, okay, level 1, I'm like a little bit weaker. We're sending like straight 6. Okay, I'm going to have no income for the first 6 levels. Feeling kind of weak. They sent level 5. Okay, I'm weak. Prio is push, right? And it's like that level 5, 100% on that level 5. You should just lock in that it's like, yep, teal and purple took all the feed. My priority is push, right? Like purple was already fat from level 1. Teal was happy with the level 1 because he got early push and leaked. He literally lost 3 gold level 1 in return for like 2 free wisps. So he's fucking laughing, right? And then, playing with 0 income makes especially the YOLO lane weaker because you don't get to push as much, which means the like return on investment from your income that you get from the push, it happens later, which makes it overall less effective. And then the level 5 should have just been like, bang, yep, okay, I'm weak, I'm pushing. My aim is like 7-6, 7-7, probably leaking for the team. So I think you could have played around that a lot better, like not adding the aquas on 7 and then just prioritizing the push a bit more. But in general, you did end up doing that. The 7-5 for 9 was good. The 7-6 during 9 was good. So I think you did realize like what your job was. It's just you took longer than needed to do that. You should have been able to tune into that earlier on in the game. But anyway, it was pretty solid. So yeah, cheers very much for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all of that. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.